But I don't want to get too conspiratorial. This is not this type of podcast. It's not conspiracy theory. So yeah, but there's a lot of other, I'd say, like contributions to the world from Czech. Specifically, some books have been linked to very specific elements about the Czech lifestyle, but also about the entirety of the world, the language. Yeah, like for example, about let me try to pronounce this because it's pretty hard for me. Karel Čapek.
I've heard about him, yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay, so he is known for one book specifically.
Yeah.
It's R.U.R, which R.U.R is a book about skepticism, about the world of technology. But R.U.R introduced a new word to the English and word lexicon. It's the word robot.
No way,
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, robot comes from this book, from the verb robota, which means forced labor in Czech, and it does reflect that sort of like automated work that is pretty scary. It's a part of this is kind of like reflects a broader concept of the Czech lifestyle, which is skepticism of higher ground, of skepticism of novelty, of skepticism of technologies. Every time that you're going to be in Czech Republic, you always need to double check what you're saying and what people are also saying to you.
Okay, quite interesting. But did you know actually that Chappelle was nominated for the Nobel Prize several times? And because he feared to be like politically targeted, he asked not to win.
Oh my God, that's such a pressure. But multiple times even, that's insane. Like at this, if I were him, I would have taken it. But at the same time, I don't know where he was nominated. I don't know what kind of political implication he was talking about. But hey, I mean, at least one you can take it. Come on. I mean, it's a Nobel Prize.
Well, maybe if you lived back then, that's a different story.
Yeah, if there's one type of culture that I'm completely like separated from is like Czech Republic, so I can't really comment on much. But there is one other author or like book that I wanted to shout out, kind of to give a sort of like roundabout look into the culture of Czechia. It is Milan Kundera. Milan Kundera wrote the book, author of The Unbearable Lightness of Being. That's a very heavy title, I have to admit. But I'm not going to go too much beyond what the book is about, but I want to kind of like use it as a way to talk about parts of the Czech culture, specifically about heroic gestures and how they need to be kind of suppressed, or again, you have to be skeptic of heroic gestures because it makes sense. If you're someone like Czechia that has been under so many different powers and so many different movements, you kind of are sick and tired of this sort of like people coming in and trying to think that they are the right rulers. So this is going to be very, very present in a lot of different media, even media for kids,
Okay.
Yeah, like for example, fables in the Czech Republic have been known to be a lot darker than your normal like Disney fable, but at the same time, it's also interesting because it's all about outwitting your opponent using your cunning, your cunning intellect. But this cunning intellect does come from very weird sources. If you were to think, like, let's think of like a Disney or like a modernized version of a fairy tale. Who's usually the protagonist? Like in this situation,
Well, it would be a princess or a prince.
yeah, a princess usually needs to be saved or something, and the prince comes in and he's the one that defeats evil with a sword. In Czech Republic in Czechia, it doesn't really work like that. Usually the protagonists are people that are like farmers or like people from the low class, or also princesses are usually depicted as being a lot more clever than their higher peers. There's entire like fairy tales about someone that is like a juggler, or someone that is like a slave, or someone that is like a poor man outwitting the king. And there's no better example of this outwitting philosophy than the devil himself. The devil is called Schecht. Now, I want to ask you, if you were to describe me what the devil in a fairy tale would be like or acting, what would you say?
Well, I guess he or she would be really mean.
Yeah, it's really mean, but like what kind of like personality would they have?
I guess lying a lot and